everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be tackling a pretty big topic. It's something that underpins pretty much every society that has ever existed, and that is law.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We'll be tracing its evolution over time from ancient customs all the way to the complex legal systems we see today. And our guide for this deep dive is a curious individual named Oliver, whose own journey into understanding the law led him to unearth some really fascinating sources.
Well, when you say ancient customs, it's amazing how far back the concept of law actually goes. Did you know that even 4,000 years ago, sophisticated legal systems like the Code of Hammurabi were already in place?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, what drove those ancient civilizations to formalize their rules in this way, and what can we learn from them today?
It's almost like trying to figure out the rules of a game that's been played for centuries. You could see the moves, but really grasping that underlying why takes a bit more digging. So in his quest to understand the law, Oliver delved into how ancient societies relied on traditions and customs to handle their disputes, which sounds pretty straightforward, but I can imagine things could get pretty complicated without clear written rules to follow.
Well, just imagine a world where justice was entirely based on word of mouth and potentially very subjective interpretations of ancient traditions. It definitely opens the door to a lot of confusion and unfairness. But what's really striking is that even though these early systems might seem pretty basic compared to our modern legal frameworks, that fundamental goal of maintaining order and settling conflicts has actually remained remarkably consistent throughout history.
I think that's fascinating, how some things just transcend time, For example, you have the Code of Hammurabi, which completely captivated Oliver. This ancient legal document was literally carved in stone. Can you imagine a judge today pulling out a massive stone tablet in court?
That's definitely not something you see every day.
Right.
But the Code of Hammurabi really gives us a glimpse into the values and priorities of a civilization from thousands of years ago. For instance, one of his laws stated that if a builder constructed a house and it collapsed and killed the owner, the builder would be put to death.
Wow.
Which might seem incredibly harsh by today's standards.
Yeah.
But it really underscores the importance they placed on accountability and the quality of one's work.
That's a powerful example of how our notions of justice have transformed over time. What might have been considered a fair punishment back then could be seen as completely disproportionate today. And speaking of evolution, Oliver uncovered that the Romans played a massive role in shaping the legal systems we have today.
Oh, absolutely.
They were known for their organization, their focus on written codes, and their efforts to apply laws consistently, which was a huge shift from the less formal systems that preceded them.
The Roman Empire's impact on law is undeniable. Their systematic and structured approach left an enduring legacy, especially in Europe. Many of the legal concepts we use today, like justice and citizen rights, have their roots in Roman law. It's like they laid the groundwork for our modern legal systems.
That's incredible how much we've inherited from a civilization that existed so long ago. I can picture Oliver, with his passion for history, digging through those Roman legal texts and realizing how many of their ideas are still relevant today. It's like connecting dots across centuries.
Exactly. Take the idea of innocent until proven guilty, for example. This foundational principle, present in so many modern legal systems, actually originates from Roman law. Their legal system, although not without its flaws, established a framework for due process and legal proceedings that has continued to influence the development of law for centuries.
So we've gone from those early traditions to the more structured Roman system. But as Oliver noticed, every country seems to have its own distinct approach to law. He actually compared it to different recipes for the same dish, where you might have similar ingredients, but the final outcome can be vastly different.
That's a great analogy. Today, we mainly have two major legal systems in the world, common law and civil law. Common law, which originated in England, places a strong emphasis on precedent, meaning that past court decisions serve as binding guidelines for future cases. While civil law, on the other hand, is based on a comprehensive set of written rules. And in this system, judges interpret those rules rather than primarily relying on previous decisions. So it's like having a detailed rule book versus a collection of case studies.
That's a really clear way to put it. And I remember Oliver mentioning something about attending a discussion on human rights, which led him to learn about significant milestones like the Magna Carta and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It seems like these documents represent another significant step forward in the evolution of law.
Absolutely. The Magna Carta, signed back in 1215, marked a pivotal moment in the development of individual rights. and limiting the power of the monarchy. Then, centuries later, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted in 1948, established a global standard for protecting fundamental freedoms. These documents really reflect a growing awareness of the inherent dignity and worth of every human being.
It's pretty remarkable to see how far the concept of law has come, from those ancient codes etched in stone to globally recognized declarations of human rights. It's like witnessing humanity's ongoing journey to create a more just and equitable world.
Absolutely. And that journey is far from over. It continues to unfold even today, as law grapples with new challenges and adapts to our ever-changing realities. It's a dynamic process that reflects the complexities of our world.
That's a great point. Speaking of witnessing the law in action, Oliver had the opportunity to visit a courthouse and observe firsthand how the legal system works. He was struck by the formality of it all, the arguments presented by the lawyers, the judge's role in presiding over the proceedings. It all felt incredibly serious and consequential.
Courthouses can be quite intimidating places, especially for someone who's never stepped foot in one before. What Oliver observed was the culmination of centuries of legal development, a structured process, carefully designed to ensure fairness and due process. It's where laws are applied to real-life situations, disputes are settled, and ideally, justice prevails.
It must have been a truly eye-opening experience for him. I remember him sharing that he initially thought law was primarily about punishment, but his time at the courthouse revealed a much more nuanced reality.
You're absolutely right. Modern legal systems cover a wide range of areas, from criminal law, which deals with offenses against society, to civil law, which handles disputes between individuals or organizations. And you have administrative law, governing the actions of government agencies, and many other specialized areas. It's a complex web of rules and regulations aimed at addressing the diverse legal issues that arise in modern society.
Wow, it sounds like navigating that legal landscape would be quite a challenge, even for someone with a legal background. Oliver was particularly fascinated by the role lawyers play in this whole process. He saw them as these essential guides, helping their clients understand the intricacies of the law and advocate for the best interests.
Lawyers definitely play a crucial role in the pursuit of justice. They research the law meticulously, gather evidence, prepare legal documents, and represent their clients in court. They act as intermediaries between the complexities of the legal system and the individuals or organizations seeking legal recourse. It's a very demanding profession, requiring not only a deep understanding of the law, but also strong analytical, communication, and advocacy skills.
Absolutely. As Oliver continued his deep dive into the world of law, he also began to think about the challenges legal systems face in a world that's constantly changing. He had a particularly insightful conversation with his friend Emma about the growing field of environmental law. It's amazing how law is being used to address issues like pollution, climate change, and protecting our planet's natural resources.
Environmental law is a relatively new field, but it's rapidly gaining importance as we become more aware of the impact of human activities on the environment. There's an increasing need for legal frameworks to regulate these activities and ensure the well-being of our planet for future generations. It's a complex area of law that often involves balancing economic interests with environmental concerns, and it frequently requires international cooperation to address issues that transcend national boundaries.
It's a reminder that the law isn't static. It needs to evolve and adapt to meet the changing needs of society. And speaking of change, Oliver couldn't resist exploring the impact of technology on the legal world. The internet, with its rapid pace of innovation, has introduced a whole new set of legal challenges.
You're absolutely right. The digital age has brought about a host of novel legal issues related to privacy, cybercrime, intellectual property, and data protection. Cyber law is a rapidly evolving field, grappling with the complexities of regulating online activity, while also safeguarding fundamental rights. It's a constant game of catch-up, as technology often advances faster than the development of legal frameworks.
It sounds like a bit of a wild west out there in the digital realm. I can only imagine how difficult it must be for lawmakers to keep pace with the speed of technological advancements. Speaking of the future, Oliver had the chance to attend a lecture about the potential impact of artificial intelligence on the legal system. It seems like AI could completely revolutionize how law is practiced and administered.
The potential of AI in law is immense. Imagine AI-powered tools that can analyze vast amounts of legal data, assist with legal research, draft legal documents, and even predict the outcome of court cases. This could lead to a much more efficient and accessible legal system, which could benefit both legal professionals and the public.
It sounds almost like something straight out of a science fiction movie. It does make me wonder, though, what about the human element in law? Will lawyers and judges become obsolete in an AI-driven legal system?
That's a question that sparks a lot of debate. While AI can certainly automate certain tasks, it's highly unlikely that it will completely replace human judgment and decision-making in the legal field. Legal issues often involve complex ethical considerations, subjective interpretations, and a nuanced understanding of human behavior, areas where AI still has a long way to go.
That is reassuring to hear that the human touch will still be crucial in the legal world, even as AI continues to advance. Oliver's exploration of law has taken him on quite a journey, from ancient codes to modern courtrooms, from declarations of human rights to the potential impact of artificial intelligence. He's definitely covered a lot of ground.
He certainly has, and throughout this exploration, there's a recurring theme that emerges: the evolution of law. Law isn't just a fixed set of rules. It's a dynamic system, constantly adapting to address new challenges and to reflect our evolving societal values. Understanding this evolution is really essential for anyone who wants to engage with the law in a meaningful way.
It's like law is this living, breathing entity, constantly growing and changing alongside society. It's a pretty remarkable concept when you think about it. At the beginning of our deep dive, we touched on how ancient civilizations felt compelled to formalize their rules. And it seems like that same need is still driving the evolution of law today, just on a much larger and more complex scale.
I think that's a great observation. The fundamental purpose of law: to establish order, resolve disputes, and protect individual rights, remains as relevant as ever. The methods and the scope may have evolved dramatically over time, but those core principles, those have endured.
It makes you wonder what Oliver ultimately took away from all of this. He went from being simply curious about law to practically immersing himself in it.
I believe Oliver's journey really highlights the importance of understanding the law, not just as a set of rules, but as a reflection of our shared values and aspirations as a society. It's about how we choose to govern ourselves and strive to create a just and equitable world for all.
I remember him saying that. He used to view law as something distant and intimidating, but through his exploration, he realized just how deeply connected it is to our daily lives, whether it's the contracts we sign, the traffic laws we follow, or the rights we exercise. Law is woven into the fabric of our existence.
It truly is. It's the often unseen framework that shapes our interactions, safeguards our freedoms, and provides a mechanism for resolving conflicts peacefully. And as we've seen with the evolution of human rights law and the emergence of new areas like environmental law, it can also be a powerful instrument for social change.
It's inspiring to think that we can all play a part in shaping the future of law, even if we aren't legal experts ourselves, whether it's advocating for policies we believe in, voting for representatives who align with our values, or simply being informed and engaged citizens. We all have a stake in the legal system.
I completely agree. Understanding the history and evolution of law empowers us to engage with it in a more critical and constructive manner. It allows us to appreciate its complexities, to recognize its limitations, and to work towards creating a legal system that truly serves the needs of everyone in society.
Well, I think we've delved into quite a bit in this deep dive, from ancient codes to modern courtrooms, from the enduring principles of law to the challenges posed by the digital age. We've explored this vast and ever-evolving world of law.
It has been a fascinating journey, and I hope our listeners have gained a deeper appreciation for the vital role that law plays in shaping our world.
I have a feeling Oliver would second that. And who knows, maybe this deep dive will spark a curiosity in some of you to continue exploring this fascinating realm of law. There's always something new to discover, and the story of law is far from finished.
That's right. The evolution of law is an ongoing process, and we all have a role to play in shaping its future. So stay curious, stay engaged, and let's continue to work towards a world where law is a force for justice, progress, and the flourishing of humanity.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time for part 2, where we'll explore Oliver's discoveries about how technology is shaping the future of law. Until then, keep those legal minds sharp, and we'll see you soon.
See you then. And that journey, it really never ends. Law is constantly evolving to address new challenges and realities. It's a dynamic process that mirrors our ever-changing world.
Speaking of seeing the law in action, Oliver actually got the chance to visit a courthouse and witness firsthand how the legal system operates. He was really struck by the formality of the proceedings, the arguments presented by the lawyers, The judges rolling overseeing it all. It all seems so serious and consequential.
Oh, yeah. Courthouses can be pretty intimidating,
Yeah.
especially for someone who's never been inside one before. What Oliver observed, though, was the culmination of centuries of legal development, structured process, designed to ensure fairness and due process. It's where those laws are actually applied to real-life situations. Disputes are resolved.
Yeah.
And hopefully justice prevails.
It must have been quite an eye-opener for him. I remember him mentioning that he initially thought of law as being mostly about punishment. But his experience at the courthouse showed him that it's much more nuanced than that.
Exactly. Modern legal systems encompass a wide range of areas. You have criminal law, which deals with offenses against society, and then there's civil law, which handles disputes between individuals or organizations, and then you also have administrative law, which governs the actions of government agencies, and so on. It's really a complex web of rules and regulations, all designed to address the various legal issues that come up in a modern society.
Wow, it sounds like navigating that legal landscape would be a challenge even for someone with a legal background. Oliver was really intrigued by the role of lawyers in the whole process. He saw them as these kind of guides, helping their clients understand the complexities of the law and advocating for their interests.
Well, lawyers definitely play a crucial role in making sure justice is served. They research the law thoroughly, gather evidence, prepare legal documents, and represent their clients in court. They essentially act as intermediaries between that complex legal system and the individuals or organizations who are seeking some kind of legal recourse. It's a very demanding profession that requires not only a deep understanding of the law, but also strong analytical communication and advocacy skills.
As Oliver was delving deeper into the world of law, he also started thinking about the challenges legal systems face in a world that's constantly evolving. He had a really interesting conversation with his friend Emma about the rise of environmental laws. And it's fascinating how law is being used to address issues like pollution, climate change, and the protection of natural resources.
Oh, absolutely. Environmental law is a relatively new field, but it's rapidly growing in importance. As we become increasingly aware of the impact our actions have on the environment, there's a growing need for legal frameworks to regulate those activities and protect our planet for future generations. It's definitely a complex area that often involves trying to find a balance between economic interests and environmental concerns, and it often requires international cooperation to address issues that cross national borders.
It's a good reminder that law isn't static. It must adapt to meet the changing needs of society. And speaking of change, Oliver couldn't help but explore the impact of technology on the legal world. The internet, with its incredibly fast pace of innovation, has brought about a whole new set of legal challenges.
Oh, absolutely. The digital age has really ushered in a wave of novel legal issues related to things like privacy, cybercrime, intellectual property, and data protection. Cyber law is a rapidly evolving field, trying to keep up with regulating online activity while also safeguarding fundamental rights. It often feels like a constant game of catch-up, as technology tends to advance much faster than the development of legal frameworks.
It's like the Wild West out there in the digital world. I can only imagine how tough it is for lawmakers to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to these rapid technological advancements. And speaking of the future, Oliver attended a lecture that focused on the potential impact of artificial intelligence on the legal system. It seems like AI has the potential to revolutionize how law is practiced and administered.
Yeah, the potential of AI in law is huge. Imagine AI-powered tools that can analyze massive amounts of legal data, help with legal research, draft legal documents, and even predict the outcomes of court cases. This could lead to a much more efficient, accurate, and accessible legal system, potentially benefiting both legal professionals and the public.
That does sound like something out of a science fiction movie, but it makes you wonder, what about the human element in law? Will lawyers and judges become obsolete in this AI-driven legal system?
Well, that's a question that's being debated quite a bit right now. And while AI can definitely automate certain tasks, it's unlikely to completely replace human judgment and decision-making in the legal field. Legal issues often involve complex ethical considerations, subjective interpretations, and a nuanced understanding of human behavior, which are all areas where AI still has quite a ways to go.
That is reassuring to hear, that human touch will still be essential, even as AI continues to advance. So Oliver's exploration of law has really taken him on quite a journey, from ancient codes to modern courtrooms, from human rights declarations to the potential impact of artificial intelligence. He's covered a lot of ground.
He has. He really has. And throughout his journey, a key theme has emerged: the evolution of law. Law isn't just a static set of rules. It's a dynamic system, constantly adapting to new challenges. and reflecting the values of society as they evolve. Understanding this evolution is really crucial for anyone who wants to engage with the law in a meaningful way.
Yeah, it really is. Like, law has a life of its own. It's constantly growing and changing right alongside society. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is.
At the beginning of our deep dive, we talked about how even those ancient civilizations, thousands of years ago, felt this need to codify their rules. And it seems like that same impulse is still driving the evolution of law today, just on a much grander scale.
Yeah, I think that's a really insightful point. The core purpose of law, establishing order, resolving disputes, protecting those individual rights. It's as relevant today as it ever was. The ways we do it and the scope of what law covers has definitely changed. But those fundamental principles, they've stood the test of time.
It makes you wonder what Oliver took away from all this. He went from being curious about the law to practically living and breathing it.
Well, I think Oliver's journey really underscores the importance of understanding the law, not just as a bunch of rules, but as a reflection of our values and aspirations as a society. It's about how we as a society decide to govern ourselves and work towards creating a world that's fair and just for everyone.
I remember him saying that he used to see law as something distant and kind of intimidating, but through his exploration, he realized just how deeply connected it is to our everyday lives.
Exactly. Whether it's the contracts we sign, the traffic laws we obey, or the rights we exercise, law is woven into the very fabric of our lives.
It really is the framework for how we interact with each other and the world around us.
Absolutely. It's the framework that shapes those interactions, protects our freedoms, and offers a way to resolve those disagreements peacefully. And as we've seen with the evolution of human rights law and the rise of things like environmental law, it can also be a powerful tool for positive change.
It's pretty inspiring to think that we can all play a role in shaping the future of law, even if we're not legal experts ourselves.
Absolutely. Whether we're advocating for policies, we believe in voting for representatives who share our values, or even just staying informed and engaged as citizens, we all have a stake in the legal system.
It all comes back to that idea of an informed and engaged citizenry.
Exactly. Understanding the history and the evolution of law empowers us to engage with it in a much more critical and constructive way. It helps us see the complexities, understand its limitations, and work towards a legal system that truly serves everyone.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into the world of law.
We have. We've gone from ancient codes to modern courtrooms, from enduring legal principles to the challenges of the digital age. It's been quite a journey.
It really has, and I hope our listeners have come away with a deeper understanding of the vital role that law plays in our world.
Me too. I hope it sparks some curiosity and maybe even inspire some of our listeners to keep exploring this fascinating field.
I think Oliver would definitely agree with that. And hey, who knows, maybe this deep dive will inspire some of you out there to continue learning about law, because there's always something new to discover. And as we've seen, the story of law is far from over.
It's a story that's still being written, and we're all part of it. So stay curious, stay engaged, and let's all keep striving for a world where law serves as a powerful force for justice, progress, and a better future for everyone.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of law. We'll see you next time.